Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Moodz616 here, and yes, it is finally that time to get the Q&A answers going here. Sorry about the delay on this one. I tried to do this about 5 days ago. Like I said, I was pretty much on time with it, and one thing after another in the last 3-4 days has prevented me from doing really any YouTube videos. Man, I tell you, when life comes at you, it comes at you frickin' hard sometimes. I had such a crazy weekend, of course, we were actually even having a Super Bowl party, and all this other stuff was going on. I just could not get this done. It was really, really infuriating. But we're here now, so let's get right into this. So we'll try not to make this video like 2 hours long. Got a lot of questions to get through here. Surprisingly, not really a lot of repetitive questions or repeated questions, so that was actually pretty cool. But yeah, first question here we got from Talik89A. I'm going to start from the bottom and go up. It's just easier for me to scroll up. Awesome stuff, Moodz. Love your channel. What's your favorite film releasing company? Arrow, Scream, etc. At the present moment, I have to say it is definitely Arrow Video. Arrow just knocks everything out of the park. Everything from presentation to, you know, just the films that they're releasing, special features, everything. Absolutely love them. I think if Grindhouse, you know, released a lot more stuff, they would definitely be up there because their releases are primo. I think some of the best releases out there, to be honest. But yeah, thanks for the question. Business of Fear, aka Lewis, one of my homies from the group page, big podcast fan. Awesome that you asked a couple questions here. Hottest character in the Friday the 13th franchise. I'd probably have to go with Debbie Sue Voorhees. I choose her because, man, those titties are just so nice. And plus, her last name is Voorhees, strictly by chance, right? Do you have any horror-related tattoos? If not, would you get any? I actually do. I have like an entire half sleeve of tattoos. I've got like all the big characters on here, like Jason, Freddy, Chucky, Pinhead, Leatherface, Mike Myers, things like that, just with some other things all incorporated into there. So I've actually planned on finishing the whole sleeve. I just never get around to it. And tattoo artists around here seem to come and go. Like the one that did this, it was actually a girl. She's been gone forever and stuff, so that was kind of the reason why I held off from doing the rest of it and stuff. So, but yeah, I definitely love getting tattoos. It's super. It's like a fun experience. If you were forced to watch only one actor's catalog of films for the rest of your life, who would it be and why? I would definitely choose Vincent Price. He's up there. He's tied with Jeffrey Combs for my favorite actor, but I choose Vincent Price because I love the films, and plus his catalog it's just a lot bigger. So it's kind of like, you know, let's go with the bigger catalog. Plus the quality of films is definitely there too. So I'd have to go with Vincent Price because I can watch Vincent Price films pretty much all the time. Next up here from Psychotic Cinema. It's a great name. Yeah, so technical, what editing software do you use? Really, I just use iMovie. I know I'm so cheap, but I just use iMovie, which I really do need to upgrade to something because iMovie's, the new version of it is so hard to edit in. It's just terrible. Terrible. You gotta hold down the R and scroll. Oh, it's terrible shit. What kind of camera do I use? I use a Canon, actually, what is it? Canon PowerShot SX60 HS. So, yeah, I actually had to write that down because I can't remember all that shit. But yeah, PowerShot. You know, it's more of a camera, so when I'm recording videos, I can only record like 30 minutes at a time, which is annoying. So that's why sometimes you'll see my updates, I'll have edits around there and stuff. But yeah, it does shoot pretty good. I only shoot in 720 just because uploading, well, I guess I probably could shoot in 1080 now, but the problem is shooting in 1080, you only get about 10 minutes of recording time. So I actually shoot in 720 because I get the 30 minutes. It's really annoying. Movie related. What is one horror movie you'd love to see released on Blu-ray that's never been released outside of VHS? I would love to see Blue Monkey. It's a William Freud film, creature feature from the 80s. I absolutely love that film. It's never had a DVD release, just heavily bootleg, but love to see that one on Blu-ray. If there was one company and only one company you had to collect from the rest of your life, which would it be? I would probably say Arrow, because they seem to be acquiring lots of really, really great stuff. I'm very hesitant to almost say 88 films right now because with their Italian line and their Asian line and their slasher line, like, I mean, that's kind of covering all the bases. If I was just to pick that company, that would it would seem to be a little bit more fulfilling to myself. But yeah, anyways. Podcast related. What is your personal favorite episode you guys have done? I think I've answered this before, and I would probably have to say episode 50, which is the 50 most influential films of the last 50 years. That was a really fun episode to prepare for and to also do. It was very, very fun because there's no reviews. We're just talking about all these really great classic films and stuff. That was fun. That was fun. What is one episode that actually got you mad or irritated in? I would have to say episode 18, which was the torture chamber episode. It was one of the first episodes where me and JP really got heated and fought, but that's not why I was irritated. I was more irritated over the fact that Jeremy didn't watch the main review film, and we kept asking him to chime in, and he was just kind of beating around the bush. I'm like, this motherfucker didn't watch the goddamn film. So it's like me and JP arguing, and this third guy is supposed to kind of break the ice, didn't know what the fuck to say, and he was kind of agreeing and disagreeing with. I was like, oh, it was terrible. It was super frustrating, and I'll never forget that episode because I was literally pissed off for a couple days after we recorded that episode. I was like, how the fuck did he not watch the movie? That's just bullshit. So yeah, I was a little bit pissy about that. Bread of the Living Dead asks, what is your favorite Asian horror movie? How many movies do you own? I'm at 5,500 myself. My favorite Asian horror film? I don't know, man. I'm a really big fan of Asian cinema. I would have to say Battle Royale's up there for me. I saw The Devil. I know it's more recent, but I love that film. Tales of Two Sisters. I mean, most recently from South Korea, Train of Busan, man, it was my favorite film of last year. I love that movie. But the Koreans, man, the Southern Koreans, they make some really damn good films, and they make a lot more hits than misses. At least what we get over here, anyways. But yeah, so how many movies do I own? I don't know, 6,000, 7,000, somewhere in there. I've never counted, nor I probably never will. I just don't really care how much I own, to be honest. It's not about having 10 million. Especially now, I've been really trying to weed out the collection. I've been getting rid of lots of stuff, and probably due to the fact that like I'm running out of space. I mean, you kind of have to make that decision every once in a while. But yeah, thanks for the question. Steve OKKU94. Some of these names, man, I cannot pronounce. Favorite punk band and favorite metal band. Favorite punk band by far is Bad Religion. Huge Bad Religion fan. Own pretty much all their albums, which is like fucking 20. God, they have so many albums out. Favorite metal band, Iron Maiden. I've been a big Iron Maiden fan forever. Bruce Dickinson is like a god to me. I think his singing it blows me away. I've seen him live a couple times. Most recently, I think last year, and he still is so amazing live. Like, he literally runs around stage and he's singing, you know, this is no Britney Spears lip syncing crap. His breath control is mind-blowing to me. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So I have so much respect, but they've never put out any shitty albums to me, man. I respect their older stuff, obviously, and then their newer stuff, which was a little bit different, but it's still really damn good. So Jonathan Fox asks, what are your thoughts on Jeepers Creepers? I love him. Victor Salva, he's a rapist piece of cunt shit. Sorry for my language, but I always get a little pissy when I think about him. But, you know, with that said, and, you know, he's done his time, and I'm not trying to, you know, fucking, you know, say that it was, you know, justify what he did was right or anything. But, you know, with that said, you know, as a filmmaker, I'll judge him on his films, not personally, because it's hard. There's a lot of actors and filmmakers stuff out there I don't care for, but I do like their films. Victor Salva is one of them. I don't like him personally, but he does know how to make films. Clown House is a really good film. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 are really good films. He's done some really good work in his very shady life. So, you know, I love the films. And also, what is your most anticipated horror film of 2017? You know, I was really anticipating the Friday the 13th. You know, the more I thought about it, and then not even was it yesterday, they just officially canceled it. So I actually don't really know. I don't really get overly excited for releases anymore because of this exact reason. Things get canceled, things get moved up, I don't know. I just don't like to set my bar too high for, you know, utter disappointments. I know that sounds like a cop-out answer, but it really is true. I mean, if you knew me personally, I never get excited. Like, I won't get excited when I'm going on a trip until I'm actually at my destination. I could be in the airport, drinking beers. No, I'm pretty chill. I don't get excited until we're landed. Like, we just went to Vegas. I didn't get excited until I was actually out of the plane in the airport. I'm like, hey, now we're in Vegas. Now we can get excited. And my whole demeanor changes. I'm weird like that. I'm just weird. Anthony Sancturum. What music do you listen to other than hip-hop? I listen to a lot of metal. I listen to a lot of different types. Anything from, well, just, you know, a lot of even classic rock and stuff to power metal is probably my favorite, but I love stuff like 6 Feet Under and Cannibal Corpse and, you know, anything from Pantera to Korn. It doesn't matter. I listen to a lot of different kind of stuff, so. Weekend Fright. What's up, homie? I'm just going to list some because I want to know all of these. What's your most embarrassing blackout drunk story? Whichever one you feel comfortable with telling. I don't, honestly, man, I can drink, man. I've never really had too many blackout stories that were done purposely by myself. But there is one story where I went to this club. I met up with my friends in Vancouver, and they just went to an AC/DC concert. I didn't go. And we met up at this club called the Love Affair. And that specific night, they had Kokanee beers on special. So everybody was drinking Kokanee. It was like $3 bottles or some crazy low price. And so anyways, I'd met up with them, and I only had a couple beers before I went. So I was completely sober. And so we were there for a couple hours. I had maybe 2 or 3 beers, not really that much. And so we were getting going, and I grabbed my beer and drank it. And like 10 minutes later, man, I was like almost unconscious. Like something hit me, and I was just like, holy fuck, what the hell's going on, kind of thing. I think what happened was, I think somebody slipped something in one of the girls' beers that we were with. Me and my buddy Carrie were with these 4 girls. And, 2 girls to 1 guy. No, but I think they slipped something into one of their drinks or something, and I drank the wrong beer, because that's like never happened to me in my entire life. And lo and behold, I tried to fight it. I punched a hole through the hotel room bathroom door and a hole in the wall. So there was a big fucking bill there and stuff. And that's probably one of the most embarrassing things that's ever happened to me, even though it wasn't actually specifically my personal fault. But yeah, that one sucked. I felt like shit for like 3 days, man. Getting drugged, not cool. What's the craziest DVD score you found out while hunting? I found some decent things. The one I always think about is the Bad Taste Lenticular Original Anchor Bay kind of digibook release or whatever. I found the thing for $1, and at the time it was selling for like, $30, $40. It was a nice find, mint shape. Somebody just dropped it off, so that was kind of a cool find. Name the worst and most disturbing movie you actually find enjoyable, and why. I would say, I always say The Girl Next Door, but I mean, I really enjoy August Underground. I actually do. For as fucked up as it is, I really do enjoy it for what it is, but The Girl Next Door is a completely different film. I enjoy the film. I don't like to watch it a whole lot because the idea is just ridiculously fucked up to me, but yeah, so, do you have any, good one-on-one fist fight stories? Yeah, man, I've been in my fair share of fights. Bounced a little back in the days, so yeah, there was a lot of one-punching going on there. Never really got hurt myself. But yeah, there was those times where people get a little bit rowdy, dealing with drunk people, right? So, every once in a while you'd have to, not every once in a while, for where I live, it's every night. You would punch someone in the face. Craziest drug experience, man, I did mushrooms one time. And they literally were the fucking devil's mushrooms. They had me tripping balls, dude. Every time I looked at someone, I was seeing devil's faces, and it was crazy. Like, I'd done mushrooms a lot up until that point, and that was actually the very last time I did them. They were intense, man. Actually, this guy got them for me. He said, don't let anyone do more than 2 grams, because we had a guy last night end up in the hospital, blah, blah, blah. I was like, holy fuck, crazy, man. Yeah, that was nice. That was a fucking crazy night, so. From movie to review, are you hyped for Alien Convent? Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Alien films franchise. I mean, they're fun. I mean, I really enjoy Aliens, by far my favorite one, but I'm excited for it. Have you heard about the Fright Night Story DVD that just came out? Of course. You're So Cool, Brewster, from the UK. It's phenomenal. It really is. It's about 3.5, 4 hours, something like that. They cover Fright Night 1 and 2. Pretty cool stuff, so. Opinions on weed living in BC? I'm all for it. I mean, smoking weed in BC, where I'm from, I mean, we're pretty world famous for our weed here. It's a normal way of life. When you see people smoking weed on the sidewalk, it's like smoking a cigarette. People high all the time. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't judge people for smoking weed. I don't personally smoke weed anymore, but I have no problems with it. I mean, I'm around it all the time. I have lots of friends that still smoke it on a daily basis, and it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me one bit at all. What character in a horror film broke your heart when they died? I gotta say Gage from Pet Sematary, man. Hands down. Probably the saddest fucking death ever in a film. And of course Voorhees from Jay's Friday 13th 5, because I wanted to see those titties more. That one broke my heart, man. That was from Dark West Films. Blue for Life. I'm excited for your new Shelf by Shelf video. What got you into horror, and what's your favorite studio company for horror Blu-rays being released? What got me to horror was my dad. Told the story many times back in, 85, later 85, whatever it was. Well, he brought home Fright Night. That was the film that got me into horror, so. Favorite studio, which of course is probably Arrow right now, so. Just another film reviewer asks, I think I remember you mentioned on one of the podcasts you worked on sound in some films before. I may be totally wrong, but am I right? What sort of stuff did you work on? That's right, man. I went to Columbia Academy in Vancouver. I did sound engineering, worked on obviously music and television, did commercials, films, things like that and stuff. I worked on a lot of everything was pretty much indie. I recorded a lot of demos and things like that even afterwards. And yeah, man, I worked on some indie films. The funny thing is, I worked on 3 or 4 films, and I can't remember any of the titles. It's so crazy. I worked on a low-budget vampire film that was actually pretty fun. Honestly, apparently I'm in the credits of these, and I can't even remember what they're called. Like, I can't even remember half the bands I even worked with, man. It's just so bad. It's been a long time since I've done it, but yeah, that's the type of stuff that I did. What band did you most enjoy recording when you're doing it? Any cool stories? Probably the one band I do remember the most was Christ Complex. I know that they ended up having songs like on Roadrunner and stuff like that. They were a really cool band. Death metal. They were good though. It was a fun experience, an interesting experience, because I never had any 2 band members of the 4 in the studio at the same time. I recorded everything separately. Recorded drums, recorded bass guy coming, did guitars and layers and stuff, and then did vocals. And then I remember doing mix downs and stuff and having 2 or 3 of the guys in the studio and them fighting because of the fucking what they wanted for dubs. And it was crazy. But I can see it made for a better experience that they were in the studio all at separate times. So. But yeah, thanks for the questions, man. Blaine Barlett. How the hell do you find time to review, do the podcast, work, and still have time with the family? It's really all about time management. It's fucking tough. I have long days all the time. I just feel like I never sit down and enjoy anything for myself. I mean, I love doing what I do, but it's all about time management. I do a lot of video recording at nighttime. So I get home from work, whatever, spend time with the family. And the wife usually, she watches a lot of films with me too, so I spend time with her like that. But with the kid, he goes to bed, and then I do a lot of recording after everyone's in bed and stuff. Every once in a while, I'll do something when no one's home, if I'm at home by myself, which is rare, like right now. Yeah, it's time management, man. I literally have to make schedules sometimes. So I'm a teacher and coach, and I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel, but cannot find the time. I have so much respect for reviewers doing what they love. Just wish I had those superpowers. Not superpowers, man, just time management. It's something I kind of take a lot of pride in, because it's, my old job when I was supervisor at an airline, it was all about time management because everything was timed, doing turns on aircrafts and stuff. You got 30 minutes to turn, a full-size aircraft. So it's all about time management. You learn quick over the years and stuff. Also, you may have said this already, but how do you build your shelves in your room? Simple, just get a couple 2x6s, shelf brackets and stuff, just a lot of measuring and cutting, and voila. It takes a little bit of time, but you gotta kind of fit everything in properly and stuff. Can't really take all the credit for myself. My wife did a lot of the work, actually, because she enjoys doing that stuff, and me, I am not a carpenter whatsoever. At all. Yeah, I don't take after my dad. He's completely different than me. But yeah, Marcelo Alves. Hey Moodz, which was the first one in your collection? Which movie was the first one in your collection? I have no idea. If you're referring to VHS, I was trying to think of this when I saw the question. I'm like, I have no idea. So do I remember? Not really. And the first Blu-ray I ever bought, I do know what my very first DVDs were. My very first DVDs were the Nightmare on Elm Street box set. I bought in 1999. I didn't even have a Blu-ray player until after I bought that. Or I mean a DVD player until after I bought that set. So that was kind of the set that kicked me in gear. I know DVDs came out in 97. I was still collecting VHS. And I didn't really think DVD was going to catch on. Like, every time a new format comes out, you're always kind of questioning its ability to stick around in the media world. But yeah, so it was the Nightmare on Elm Street box set. First Blu-ray, I 100% remember it was The Devil's Rejects. I bought still when that kind of HD DVD and Blu-ray battle was going on and stuff, and that was the one I got. And it still turns out it's like one of the best looking Blu-rays out there, still to this day. So I do remember that. VHS, I wish I could remember. I just have no idea. I just don't even have the slightest idea what the first one was I bought. John Grande. Hey Moodz, was really curious to know what is your favorite, most underrated Twilight Zone episodes from the original series. That's such a tough question because there's so many. One I love, man, is the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. Man, I love that episode. It's so good. Hitchhiker, amazing. Walking Difference. I got a couple written down here. Just to remind myself, The World of Difference. There's so many. Like, the first season of The Twilight Zone is some of the most creative. Actually, I mean, the entire series is super, super creative, but the first season has so many amazing ones in it, too. But I don't know. I can't even think of any original Twilight Zone episodes where I was like, man, that was really bad. I don't think there is any. That show was so far ahead of its time, story-wise and everything. Just, unbelievable. Also wanted to know, what are the main ingredients that you personally look for in a horror film? You seem to have a worse variety of horror films you love, so I like to hear what your mind says going to watching them. Yeah, it is true, man. I do like a lot of really, really bad films because I have respect for those type of films. When I'm watching a shot-on-video film, I'm expecting it just to be entertaining. Nothing else for spec-wise. Acting is going to be shitty. It's going to be shot shitty. Sound, it's going to be bad. Editing is going to be bad. Everything's going to be bad about it, but sometimes those films are so bad, they're enjoyable. When I'm watching a big-budget film, it's the complete opposite. I'm expecting the film to be edited well. Sound quality is going to be really good. Story, blah, blah, blah. All the specs I expect to be good when it's a studio film, bigger budget, more experienced people working on them and stuff. So that's why I have a hard time kind of looking at acting in low budget films and kind of grading it. It's like, well, these guys aren't professionals, so, it's a little tough to do. But depending on, the type of film it is, I'm looking for different things. So that's essentially what how I kind of, differentiate between the two and stuff. So, yeah. So, obsessed with horror 666. Do you like H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe's work? Yes, I love H.P. Lovecraft's stuff's awesome, very, very inventive. Edgar Allan Poe, I'm one of the biggest fans. Quick little interesting fact about me. Every podcast I've ever recorded, I have my microphone sitting on the complete stories and poems of Edgar Allan Poe, which I read all the time. So my mic sits right on this big-ass book, just so it's up further. But, yeah, big fan. Love Edgar Allan Poe. He's just so ahead of his time. It's crazy. You said you got rid of some movies. Do you sell movies you don't want? I usually just bring them down. I usually just give them away to my friends. But in this case, I had so many at one time, and I really wanted to get them out of my possession because they were taking up room and it was just getting annoying. So I just take them down to my buddy's shop. He's got a secondhand store and things like that. So give me some credit and stuff, and he brings in some new vinyl and things for me, and I'll usually pick that up and stuff. So. Once saw that you liked the Richard and Sal video. Are you a fan of the Stern Show? Yeah, I've been a big fan of the Stern Show forever, as long as I can even remember. I love Howard Stern, man. Fucking Howard Stern's so funny. I don't really listen to Stern as much as I used to. Sometimes I'll throw it on the retro one and I'll listen to some of the older episodes, but yeah, I miss Artie, man. I'm a big Artie fan. Those are like some of my favorite times with Artie Lang. So yes, every monster from every movie you can think of in one movie, who would win? That's a really interesting question. I'm gonna go with my boy Godzilla. I mean, how can you fuck with Godzilla? He's just ginormous. Especially the new Godzilla, man, from Shin Godzilla. Oh my god, he's crazy. Probably pissed off a lot of people to answer, but who knows? I don't know. I mean, it's all fantasy, right? So, who really knows? Your favorite Troma distributed films? I gotta say, distributed, probably Father's Day. They didn't make that one. Well, I mean, I guess actually that technically was considered a Troma film. I don't know, man. Doomsday County is a really good one. There's actually quite a few really good ones. Favorite Troma films in general have got to be Class of Nukem High is probably one of them. Just read up there, of course. Love Mother's Day. Mother's Day is really good. Directed by Lloyd Kaufman's brother. What is your worst Troma movie? Probably a film called Bloodspit. It's like a low budget vampire film. I believe it was made in the 90s. Man, it is so atrocious. Really bad on all levels. So bad it's just hard to watch. Hard to watch. Worst Full Moon, Troma, or Wild Eye. Who do I pick out of that? I would have to easily go with Troma. I mean, Wild Eye is just, the majority of the stuff they put out now is complete junk. Full Moon is not very good anymore. They put out a lot of bad stuff now. Their back catalog, I mean, if you include the Empire Picture stuff, is really good. I think it was the later 90s when their shit went right downhill. So, but yeah, what's your favorite genre besides horror? This comes from Awful Dr. Orloff. That's a sweet name. My favorite genre besides horror, action films. I love action films, especially 80s action films, man. Oh my god. Love them. Love stuff like Hands of Steel, man. Sergio Martino for life. That film is the best. It's it's like the Terminator meets like Over the Top, but this movie came out before Over the Top. It's ridiculous. What's your favorite non-horror movie? The Goonies. I'm a huge Goonies fan. I know it's very kiddie of me, but I like the Goonies. So, the Wicker Boy asks, if you had the chance to direct a horror film, what genre would it be? I would probably do something psychological. I'm a big fan of slow burn films. And with that said, I would like to do something psychological. I like the aspect of psychological horror, and I think you can do a lot with it. You know, it would definitely have to be something like that. I mean, if I could ever figure out how to do like action horror, I mean, not per se action horror, but I love road horror. I love road horror, man. I think it's just a fascinating subgenre of horror films. It doesn't get exploited a lot anymore because, I don't know, man, people just can't do them properly. Maybe that's the thing. What is the origin of the name Moodz, coming from Tib Oberon? Good question. It comes from my best friend. My best friend gave me the nickname about 25 years ago. We were about 11 or 12. And we used to spend a lot of time together. And we used to fight a lot. And one specific day we were having a fight about something. He's like, you and your fucking moods. You and your fucking moods. I'll never forget him saying that to me. And I'm just like, what? He's like, you're the moodiest fucking person I've ever met. He's getting all pissy with me. And then, you know, as kids do, they like to repeat a word just to piss off the other person. Well, he's like, moods, 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 moods. He's just being fucking annoying and shit. It actually stuck. He thought that was going to piss me off to the point where it'd be like, fuck off. But no, man, it actually became a joke after. And I get all pissy about something because I used to have such a short fuse. And be like, fucking moods. It literally stuck. It literally stuck. And that's exactly how I got my nickname from my best friend Trav, who's no longer here. He died a few years ago. Very, very tragically. But yeah, I'll forever remember that fight that we had because it gave me the name Moodz, and it was the funny shit. And it was actually over video games too. We got all bent out of shape playing, I think we were playing Mario Kart or some shit like that. I think it was Mario Kart. But I don't know, man. Favorite Stephen King books from Leonard Shelby. Favorite Stephen King books. I love all of his short stories and anthologies, like Night Shift and Different Seasons and all that type of stuff. Actual novels, I really love Misery. Misery is a great book. I think it's way better than the film. Even though I love the movie. The movie's great. The book is way more violent, it's just better in my opinion. The very first Stephen King novel I ever read was Pet Sematary when I was in the 4th grade. Read that one. It took me a long time to get through it because I had to look up words and things like that, but I got through it. Favorite Woody Allen films? Easily Manhattan Murder Mystery. I love that movie. I know it's a very quirky thing about me. I'm a huge Woody Allen fan. I know probably nobody would ever expect that, but I always liked Woody Allen's content. I think he's quirky and he's very interesting as a person and a filmmaker. The Purple Rose of Cairo. Love that movie. It's so creative. Deconstructing Harry. Such a strange, odd one. Scoop, Matchpoint. I prefer most of his older New York stuff, but I do like Scoop and Matchpoint, which with Scarlett Johansson, those were like his British films, but the stuff that he did with her is actually, those are really good, fun films actually. And of course Manhattan. Annie Hall is really amazing too. Lots of good films from him. I could go on and on about his films. So the Niner 008, if you could live in a full moon movie, which one would it be and why? Castle Freak, because you get to live in the castle, man. That'd be amazing. Toddy Walnuts, what's up, buddy? Yo, Moodz, you quite possibly the best collection I've ever seen anywhere. With that said, what was it that first got you into collecting? Was just the sole fact of having physical product in my hand. I always enjoyed recording stuff off of TV and stuff, but it was never the same. Didn't have the covers, didn't have, the credits, you couldn't flip it around and look at it and stuff. I like that aspect of collecting, and that's really what got me into it. It was, first and foremost, started collecting music first, and then I got into collecting music, or into movies and stuff. So it was just having that physical format, and I just I love artwork. I think that's essentially what it was. I like to look at covers, and growing up in the time of the VHS era and being in the movie stores with all those awesome cover arts, I could sit in there for hours. My dad always had to pull me out of there. It's ridiculous. So that's essentially what got me into buying movies, and music and stuff. So thank you for the question, Todd. And yeah, next up here, explosive action. What is up, Simon? Yes, I know you're a big horror guy, but what is your favorite explosive action film? More explosive, the better. I'm a huge John Woo fan, man. I love John Woo's stuff from like his Asian films. Hard Boiled, man. Like the fucking body count in the film is like, At one time, I know it was the highest, I think, or something. It's something like 300 and something bodies, like on-screen kills. That shit is just ridiculous action. I love the John Woo stuff, man. One of my favorite action films, not really overly explosive, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of action and stuff. I love Die Hard, man. I know it's kind of a cop-out answer, but I love that film. I love 80s action films, like I said before, you know, Hands of Steel and shit like that. I love stuff like that. Hands of Steel, one of the best films, man. It's just so good. But yeah, I like my 80s action, man. Love it. Jack Lore 87. What are your favorite lesser known Giallo films? One that always comes to mind that actually needs a big release is Blue Eyes, a Broken Doll by Paul Naschy, man. That one's really good. I actually had to watch that online because I mean, you can get DVDs. I'm waiting for the Blu-ray. I know that thing is going to get re-released one of these days, so looking forward to that. Another one that I do recommend is Play Motel. It's not the greatest Giallo in the world, but it's so damn sleazy, and the theme song in it will totally get you. It'll suck you right in, man. You'll be singing that shit for days. I love that. Eyeball by Umberto Lenzi. That's another really good one. That's just things that people don't really generally talk about. So what kind of music do you listen to besides rap? I love metal. I love oddly enough, I love 80s pop music, cheesy 80s pop music. I don't know why, but I love jazz too. What movie introduced you to the Italian horror? Now this is a question. I'm pretty sure it is The House by the Cemetery. If that isn't the first one I saw, I want to say it was Zombie. But I don't think it was. I can't quite remember the answer to this question. I think it is The House by the Cemetery. Of course, the Fulci film. I think that might be the first one I've seen back in the day. So, all right. So, thanks for the questions. New Scream Factory collection. Yeah, Matt. Possibly. I mean, it's going to be coming up in the shelf by shelf anyways, so be on the lookout for that. Tom Broker, what is your biggest passion? Horror, hip-hop? That's a really tough question. I would say they're equal. I mean, it probably doesn't show my channel. I do way more horror-related videos than hip-hop videos. But that's solely because, you know, I have more people on the horror side of my channel and stuff. Plus, yeah, I mean, I listen to hip-hop music just as much as I watch movies, which is really hard to believe. But I spend a lot of time in my studio sitting in there just thinking. It's funny, actually. I spend a lot of time listening to music and kind of, you know, thinking about my reviews and stuff I'm going to be doing for horror films, which is so odd. But, you know, I would say they're equal. I don't think I have a preference in which one. I still buy music and I still buy movies like I always have. I mean, not as much, but yeah, I think they're pretty damn equal, so... Matt the Horodonis. Yo, Moodz, big fan of the channel and the podcast. I've got a couple questions. What are some of your dream podcast episodes that you haven't done yet? I really want to do like a cannibal show, which I know we're probably going to be doing sometime in the future. And I can't wait to do like the Friday the 13th franchise and some of the bigger franchises, Hellraiser and things like that. Those are the ones I'm really looking forward to doing. I like doing the franchise episodes, even though the prep for them is like enormous. Children of the Corn, when we did that, I mean, that's 9 films you got to watch right there, and a lot of them are really bad, so you got to kind of stick it out. It's tough, but I really enjoy doing those longer episodes. Another one that we're actually doing coming up here is going to be Season 2 of Masters of Horror. It's another one I've been waiting to do for such a long time, but honestly, I would like to do more exploitation shows, like straight up exploitation, like the Roger Corman exploitations, like Big Dollhouse and things like that. I would like to do more exploitation. I don't know, JP's really into that stuff. It's hard because we have to find a medium, right? I'm into a lot of stuff that he's not into. So it's hard. It's kind of, we have to find a balance, you know, and we also have to do stuff that he can get his hands on to watch. So we always have to find that medium, which can be tough and frustrating too. So, have you ever considered doing book reviews on horror novels? Yeah, I actually have. I really, really have. Definitely. And I might actually do some in the future, just to see how it goes. It's a lot of prep though too, right? I know from the podcast that you've read quite a bit and would be interested to hear your thoughts on some. Yeah, I mean, of course. I've read a lot of Stephen King. I read a lot of horror stuff. I love anthology books. You know, it's probably my favorite stuff. But do I smoke weed before watching horror films? No, I do not. I simply don't smoke weed anymore, period. I find it allows me to get scared and lost in film. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that from a lot of people and stuff. I just generally don't even think about it. I don't even really drink beers while I'm watching films unless I'm with my buddies and stuff. I like to watch films with a straight mind because I'm usually watching films for the aspect I'm going to be critiquing them. It sounds bad, but I mean, that happens a lot. Not all the time, but it does. Moodz. I would kill for complete DVD Blu-ray collection video. I did do a complete overview a couple months ago. It's the featured video on my channel, so check that out. Yeah, I still get comments on my old one I did. The one where I had the big-ass beard all the time. That video must come up on everyone's feeds or something because it's ridiculous. But no, yeah, I don't even have half the views on the new one. I think the new one's better, so. But it is what it is. What are your thoughts on horror movie conventions coming from Edgar Sanchez? Love them. Big fan of conventions. I wish I could go to conventions every weekend. I just love the atmosphere. I love the people. I love buying things. It's just everything about them is exciting. It's fun. It's just something I love to do. What has been some really great experiences attending conventions you can share with us? HorrorCon a couple years ago at Dylan was amazing with my buddy Dylan, Godzilla as he's known on YouTube. He doesn't make videos, but that was a really fun experience, man. A couple years ago, me and the wife, we went to Wasteland in Cleveland. Got to hang out with Horsball, which you guys know as, Tom Horsball, one of the best channels on YouTube. That was really, really damn fun. The first year I went with NES Ruler 22, which is Jeremy. It was kind of a mixed bag because he got sick and we spent some time in the hospital, so it was kind of a mixed bag. But so all the conventions I've been to, I've had pretty interesting and unique stories and stuff. So, but yeah. Audrey Espenzo horror reviews. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with that. I put your names to that. How much do you usually spend monthly on your collection? God, I would really not like to disclose this, but I don't know, man. $500-600 a month. It's pretty bad. Obviously my mortgage on my house is paid, all my bills, everything, food on the table, everything is covered before I start buying films. It's obviously second in command. Same with music and stuff. But yeah, I spend quite a bit, and it's solely because I live in Canada. Everything's a lot more expensive up here, so it sounds really, really high. Could probably get, if I was paying an American price, it's probably half the money. Not literally, probably $300-400. I don't know. What do you think of 8 the Chosen One? That's a really random question. I like 8 the Chosen One. I think 8 is, he's a very emotional, driven person. I love his passion for everything. He's a very interesting dude. I'm not a big fan of his music, though, I won't lie. But, with that said, I respect him. He's got so much drive for what he does. It's insane. Do you guys on the podcast hate Cool Duder and his pals? I have nothing against Cool Duder or any of those guys. I know Jeremy's not the biggest fan. He said many, many times on the show he's not a big fan. It is what it is. I have no problem with Cool Duder. I actually kind of find him entertaining, to be honest. He's easy to poke fun of. That's the problem. But I respect him for what he's done. Boris Diehard. Hey, Moodz. What Argentine movies do you like and have? I don't even really know. I can think of Snuff 102. Argentine. I'm thinking like Colombian films too. I think Hidden in the Woods was a Colombian film, or is it Argentine? I can't even remember. Snuff 102, which I never really cared for at first, but kind of learned to dig it though. It's a really strange oddity type film. That one's pretty cool. Favorite metal bands, of course, Iron Maiden. I'm a really big Pantera fan. I love Korn. Korn's new record is so good. I love 6 Feet Under. Oh, man, Gojira. Man, there's just so many bands out there that I love. Pantera. Have you ever had participation in a film in your life besides doing sound for it and editing and things? No, I've never been on screen. I've never done acting, any of that type of stuff. I've been asked many times that I should do voice acting because my voice, people all the time say they like my voice, but that's something I've actually considered doing. I think voice acting would be super fun. I mean, you got to put the ugly people behind the camera, right? Yeah. Favorite post-apocalyptic movies? By far, the Bronx Warriors trilogy. I love that trilogy of films, man. Post-apocalyptic are some of my favorites. I love them. They're so much fun. How many VHS do I have? Could I do a collection overview? I don't really have that much anymore. I mean, 100, 150 maybe, something like that. I don't really buy a lot, to be honest, anymore. I buy stuff that I don't have on DVD or stuff that hasn't been released and stuff. I could do it. Well, the collection overview will be coming during the shelf by shelf, so I'll do it in there. Which hip-hop albums do you recommend to a horror movie fan? It depends what your taste is. I mean, if you like mainstream stuff, I couldn't probably recommend you anything because I don't really listen to a lot of that stuff. But I mean, if you're into horrorcore, maybe Necro, some of the early Ill Bill stuff, maybe Insane Poetry, Ishan. If you're into that type of horrorcore, I'm not necessarily, and oddly enough, into horrorcore music. I like conscious and political hip hop. stuff that's a little more positive, to be honest. But yeah, it's weird. People ask me all the time, you don't really listen to a lot of horrorcore, do you? I'm like, no, it's strange. I watch a lot of horror movies, but I don't like the horrorcore. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, so thanks for the questions, bud. Shigrat65, what is up, Kyle? Moodz, you look like a beardy outdoors lumberjack type. You know what? I'm going to take that as a compliment because it's winter here. It's cold. I usually always have a beard during the winter because I worked outside for so many years, so it is what it is. Do I believe in Sasquatch? Why not? Why not? Have you ever seen or heard anything in the backwoods of Canada that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand straight up? No. Honestly, besides the normal moose and deer and bears and the things that are always around us, foxes and wolves and oh my god. No, never heard anything out of the abnormal. Have you ever been thrown against a tree in your sleeping bag in the early hours like 1980 Night of the Demon? I think if I had have been, I probably wouldn't be here answering these questions right now, but is the big guy out there? Yeah, he is. He definitely is. Thanks, Kyle, for the questions. Jason S., what was the film that made you realize cinema as an art form? I always credit like American Me and Blood In, Blood Out. About that time period, 92, 93, is watching a lot of... The early 90s had a lot of kind of artsy, exploitive, kind of based on true story type films and stuff. And those are the films that really kind of like, wow, man, this world is fucked. There's some crazy shit, man. Goodfellas, stuff like that. Love those type of films, man. I think those are the type of films that kind of got me into thinking a different way. James LaFleur, hi, is your girlfriend also into horror flicks, and how did you meet her? Well, she's my wife. I've been married for almost 10 years. 10 years and actually like a week or something like that. How did I meet her? I met her by accident, actually. I was picking my sister up from Wendy's way back in the day. My sister was in nursing school working at Wendy's, and the wife was in hairdressing school working at Wendy's, and so I went to go pick up my sister. I saw her in the background. I actually went inside to let her know I was there. Saw her. Told my sister, I was like, "Hey, man, give that girl my number." I couldn't talk to her because she was working. She gave her a number and kind of hit it off. That's really how we met, man. It's kind of a weird one, but strictly by chance. I never went into the store to pick her up. I was there really early that particular day, so I guess it served its purpose. What age did you start watching horror movies? 5. I started watching 5. I think it was a little different back in those days. Now people would kind of bat you a mean eye if you're letting your 5-year-old and 6-year-old kids watch horror films. But back in the 80s, no one really gave a shit, I don't think. Were my parents horror fans? My mom, not so much. My dad, yes. They both read a lot of Stephen King novels, and that's what kind of got me into reading those books. And my dad was, per se, when I got older, he kind of got a little bit more out of it and stuff. But yeah, he liked the films. If you have kids, will you let them watch horror movies at the young age? Do you believe in... my son is 6. He's turning 7 here shortly. I do watch a lot of stuff with him. I let him, PG horror films, we watched The Hole recently. He really enjoyed that one. Watch a lot of like TV stuff. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Goosebumps and things like that. Monster Squad, Ghostbusters. Things that he's able to understand. And I'm not going too hardcore like with the rated R stuff right now, just because he is very, he picked that stuff. He's just, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But I'm trying to be a decent parent and not let him watch the craziest shit. But do I believe in God? Not anymore. Not after I've had so many bad things happen to me in my life with my friends. I've lost so many close friends to the most utter bullshit, brain aneurysms, fucking all this crazy. There's no fucking... God's not taking these... It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would he take them? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't believe in God anymore. Oddly enough, my father-in-law is a pastor, believe it or not, but I don't go to church. Never have, never will. I have no problem with people that have religious, backgrounds and stuff, but me personally, I have a hard time with faith because of all the shit that's happened to me in my life. Just like I said, too many friends I've lost to utter bullshit, man. Yeah, crazy, man. Keep up the gate work. Will there be another 24-hour marathon this year? Yes, it's already done. Just need to edit the video. I've been saying that for a long time. I need to re-edit the video. More on that later. James Coates. Do you have any idea how much you spent on your movie collection? Or is it better not to think about that one? I have absolutely no idea. I would probably just not like to think about that. I mean, if you added up all the money, certain months I spend more, less. I don't know. Way too much money, just put it that way. How do you have time to dedicate each week? Or how much time do you dedicate to each week doing YouTube videos and the podcast, including research, watch movies, have, man, a lot. If we're doing shows that week, it's a lot of prep, like, you know, probably a good 10 hours, maybe more, 12 hours, something like that. YouTube videos, I do at nighttime. I don't spend a whole lot doing videos, to be honest. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if 15-minute video or 8-minute video, it's generally the time. So not a whole lot. Having a kid, having a wife, a kid, and a job, do I ever sleep? No. Negative. Never sleep. Do you think there's any movie franchise that could work as a crossover? Like Freddy vs. Jason, the AP movies are clearly cases of it going very wrong. You know, I'm not really a big fan of crossover films, to be honest. We joke about it a lot. I honestly don't really care for them too much. I mean, you know, another perfect example of them going wrong is the Evil Bong Ginger Dead Man films. Fuck, that movie was terrible. Terrible, terrible shit. I honestly don't think they can, I mean, they quite possibly can go right. You know, they've done it in superhero films, but in horror, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Would you like to have a face-to-face conversation with Bill from Code Red? Who wouldn't? What would you say to him if you did? I would ask him why he's such a douchebag and why he alienates his fans and why he treats people like that. I mean, these are the people that are supposed to be, you know, putting money in his pocket, and he just sits there and disses the shit out of them. I would like to ask him why he alienates his fans and, you know, his customers and shit like that. Straight up, he's a dick. Are there any horror-themed hip-hop albums out there? Yeah, I mean, there's a subgenre of horrorcore. Like I mentioned before, Eshawn, Necro, things like that. It's not really my favorite thing in the world. I really do like Necro's production, though. He's a really good producer, but yeah, thanks for the questions. Isari 4, what movie made me legitimately scared? Honestly, man, Absentia actually kind of freaked me out a little bit. Back in the day with Children on the Corn, that movie used to freak me out, man. I don't know what it was. Most boring, pointless movie you've ever seen. I don't know, man. There's so many, but I have to say The Howling 7. God, that movie is just terrible on all levels. I can't stand it. Princess Pentagram. What is the worst yet goriest movie you've seen and can recommend any? Anything by Brian Polan. Would probably be considered not the greatest films in the world. I think they're not bad, though, but they're gory as all shit, man. Anything by Olaf Hittenbach, man. Just ridiculously gory and crazy and shit like that. German splatter films, man. Like the violent shit films and stuff. Crazy, crazy gore. I did a top 10 Tuesday on like indie gore films. Check that out. It's probably get some recommendations out of that one. So, Deadly by Dawn 93. What is up, homie? If you could meet any musician, who would it be and why? I'm assuming living and dead. I mean, from the past would be Jim Morrison. I was always obsessed with Jim Morrison. I love everything about him. I've read and watched, and I know a lot about him. But it would be cool to talk to him. Obviously, never happened, but. Living would probably be DJ Premier because he's worked with everybody in the industry, and just the stories that he would have would be utterly amazing. I think having a conversation with the guy would be truly amazing because you could probably ask him anything and he'd have a great story for you. So that'd be pretty cool. DJ Donnelly, favorite movie? Horror film is Dawn of the Dead. Non is, of course, The Goonies. What made you become a YouTuber? I don't even know. I started watching people's videos, their horror collections and stuff, and I thought it was fascinating. People would show off movies and talk about them and stuff. I just like the whole idea of just the community, being part of that type of community, and that's really why I started making videos, just because I like the community. I saw that there was people out there interacting with each other and had the same interests. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. I never got on YouTube to do reviews or start up a podcast, or none of that stuff even entered my mind. It was more just about associating with people. Have I ever been on the deep web? No. Do you believe in urban legends? Yes, of course. Stay tuned. More on that on the podcast too. We got an urban legend show coming up, which is going to be pretty cool. What music am I into? I listen to mostly hip hop, listen to metal, jazz, stuff like that. So, but yeah, thank you for the questions. Frank White, best name ever. I actually just recently watched King of New York again. Do you do bodybuilding or some kind of training now and in high school maybe? Not really. I went to the gym, lift weights. I played sports my entire life, so I stayed in pretty decent shape. I never officially bodybuilded or anything. Never did that, so. Yeah. 26 Theophilus. Man, some of these names, man. Oh. Do you have any explanation for your origin of both your passions, horror movies and hip-hop, rap music, since these certainly are a unique mixture? explanation is just, I love music in general and I love movies, so those are the ones that I, gravitate more towards, of course, horror and hip hop. So I don't know, man. I never really put two and two together that people mostly associate horror films with metal music. It never dawned on me. I never understood I do understand the connection. It does make sense completely, but I don't understand why people are so like, wow, man, you listen to hip hop and you watch horror movies. It's like, I know lots of people that do. Ari the Rugged Man's a great example. I mean, he made Bad Biology. He wrote that movie for, Frank Henenlotter. He's he's one of the best MCs of all time, in my opinion, and he's a huge hip-hop freak, and he loves horror movies. I actually recently met him and actually even talked to him specifically about this question. And he's like, yeah, it's crazy. He even said himself, he's like, sometimes I come across people that are they're one or the other. It is what it is, I guess. But yeah, it's what it is. The Omen. What job do I have? I work at Pure Later. I used to be a supervisor for an airline company. Quit that. I do own a hair salon, so that's the bigger the income right there. I do nothing but own it. My wife is, obviously the hairdresser / she's the one that really runs the place, but my name's on there, so I do collect money from it. But yeah, my day job is I work at Pure Later. Do I believe in ghosts? Yes, of course I do. Have I ever seen anything paranormal in real life? To be honest, I've never really, I think I have. I had one experience one time where my sheet of my bed kind of tugged on my foot, and that was right after my grandma died. It was kind of strange. I don't know if it was in my mind or whatever, but I haven't really had anything where I was like, damn, that really did happen. So, which is kind of unfortunate. I think it'd be kind of cool to actually have something to happen, but Austin Moore, how many horror films would you estimate you own? I don't know, 6,000, 7,000 somewhere. I have no idea. To be honest, I don't even have a clue. How much do I think I've spent on my collection? Way too much. Nat Toast. How do you manage to watch so many movies and have a family life? Like I said, time management, strictly about time management. You really got to map out things. It's crazy. Heavy Metal Relay. What's up, Richard? Man, a lot of questions here. How do you use a holy hand grenade? I put it directly in Trump's ass. That's exactly what how I use one of those. Do you like video games? And if so, what are your favorites and what games do you like playing? I gravitate more towards sports games because they're, especially golf games. I mean, I can sit around and drink beer with my friends and play golf. It's not high pace, high energy. You can take a break every shot kind of thing. But yeah, I prefer to play like the old original Nintendo games and stuff like that if I'm going to play by myself. So, what place in the world would you like to visit the most? I would love to go to Australia. I actually had a trip planned for 6 weeks once before. We had to cancel it because the mill I worked at burnt down while I was actually in Toronto. So I lost my job there, and we had this trip plan. We still were going to go, but we opted to like not go because it was probably a bad idea. It's going to cost us like 10 grand anyways. So, but yeah, Australia. Love to go to Sweden. That'd be cool. Maybe go and visit you. What do you like collecting anything besides horror movies? Yeah, I collect music, of course. CDs, vinyl, things like that. What are the things that fascinate you in life? Like little things, big things alike. Paranormal stuff actually does fascinate me. I've always been kind of like, wow, that's really interesting stuff. Just the idea of it, and honestly, space. Space is another thing that's just utterly amazing to me. And I love conspiracy theories. I love watching things on conspiracy theories. Just, the little things, right? What things are you looking forward to most in the year 2017? I don't know, just getting out of it alive. That's generally what I would like to do. Like I said, I don't really get excited for a lot of things and stuff. I just kind of take it day by day. I'm one of those type of people, so... what are your thoughts about the land of YouTube and how it's changed from what it used to be and what it is now? Yeah, you know what, man? YouTube is definitely not the same. The community is not the same. There's a lot more trolls. There's a lot more bullshit that happens on YouTube now. I do miss the old days where the interaction was amazing. Video responses, the interaction was so much more pure and so much more honest than it is now. I hate having to leave links in people's videos and shit like that. And I just don't comment as much as I do. I still watch a lot of videos. I don't comment as much as I did before because the interaction just isn't there, unfortunately. So it has changed quite drastically ever since the incorporation of Google. So yeah, what YouTubers do you miss the most, and are Any that you wish made more videos would come back. Yeah, the Horror Man. The Horror Man is one guy I miss so much, man. There was a YouTuber named Shagrat, or not Shagrat. Oh, what was his name? I think he was not. I was going to say Shagrat65, not you, Kyle. Jarshut? I think he was an Australian YouTuber from years and years ago. He just disappeared one day. He was making videos quite regular, and all of a sudden, bam, just disappeared. I'm like, fuck, did he die? Like, it was really weird. That guy was really influential, actually, in me starting up videos and stuff. So, that guy, if you guys are familiar with it, his videos are still on YouTube, by the way. I think it's Jarashut, all one word. What is your favorite subgenre of horror, and what subgenre do you think gets least attention and respect? My favorite subgenre is, slasher films and stuff. I think road horror, folklore films get the least attention. I mean, recently with The Witch and stuff, but those are the types of films I think period pieces get the least amount of attention. What are the pros and cons of collecting, in your opinion, and what do you love about it? The pros and cons, the pros are, having films at your disposal all the time. The cons are spending way too much goddamn money on potential shit films and things like that. It's fun having a big collection, but you do spend a lot of time and energy hunting down films, spend a lot of money on them. So, there's pros and cons. Plus, they take up a lot of room. It's another con to collecting and shit like that. And also dusting. You gotta dust a fuckload. Hate dusting. Sucks. If there are any things about yourself that you could change, what would they be? Not that I'm perfect. My wife will tell you that too. Yeah. One thing, probably the fact that I talk without or I say things without thinking it through a lot of the times. Like, I will act on impulse and emotion. It's something that's plagued me my entire life. I've been always known as someone that'll say what's ever on my mind to whomever. So if you're pissing me off, I'll call you a fuckhead, and we'll probably regret it later. But it is what it is, man. That's one thing I just wish I would possibly take a little bit more time to think things through before I said them. I've created a lot of enemies doing that. It is what it is. It's a trait that I'm not proud of, but I have it, so it's unfortunate. But it's funny because I'm generally the most laid back person too. But you piss me off, and I'll let you know. What are your thoughts on the future of horror and the future of adventures and YouTube and collecting? My thoughts on the future of horror, I think they're looking bright. I mean, the last couple of years have been some of the best years in horror in the last 25 years, kind of thing. So I think its elevation is there. Adventures in YouTube and collecting. I think YouTube, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be going completely in the shitter, but it doesn't seem to be evolving a whole lot either. So I don't really know about YouTube. I think it'll always be around and stuff, but collecting is scaring me. There's a lot of companies nowadays that are not releasing DVDs anymore, and they're stopping because they're just not selling. So I think the future of collecting is going to be affected a little bit by all these companies going to digitally only releases, VOD and things like that. I think it is a little bit scary the last couple of weeks. I mean, HMV is closing down. Certain companies not producing DVDs anymore. I'm like, holy fuck, like what 2017 is like the bringer of bad news, man. It's like, holy shit. So I think it's a little suspect, man. I think it's a little suspect. But yeah, thanks a lot, Richard, for all the questions, man. Those are really awesome questions and stuff. So, but yeah, moving along. You and your horror movies. What's up, Matt? What is your holy grail most after film you want? I don't really know, man. I'd probably have to say Death Weekend, aka House by the Lake. It's a William Freud film from the 70s, like a rape revenge film. It has no release. Don't know what's going on with that film. I don't even know who owns the rights to it or what's going on. William Freud is one of those guys that doesn't seem to get a lot of love in his back catalog. Killer Party, Blue Monkey, things like that. Yeah, that's one film I've always wanted. I love Death Weekend, man. It's just one of those gritty 70s grimy films that needs a release. Fucking raccoons. That name, man. What's your monthly budget for buying movies? How you afford so many? Yeah, I got, income from a couple different places, so that's how I afford them. Monthly budget, I try not to spend more than, $500-600 a month, but, sometimes more, sometimes less. Besides Amazon, what sites, retailers do you buy your movies from? Anywhere, man. eBay. There's a few other outlets and stuff. Diabolic DVD. Various Amazons. It could be like the UK or Germany and stuff like that. Diabolic. Try to use if indie films are coming out, try to buy specifically from the websites. Like Don't Fuck in the Woods was on this website. It's like a low budget type website. But I will buy a lot of stuff right from the indie sites and things like that. So just you got to look up who's putting the film out. Maybe they have an independent website. So yeah, I really like to support those type of things, because that's the problem with today, is that they're not being supported, and now a lot of places aren't producing media, which sucks. Hey Moodz, I have a question for you. Last long time. How do you make your DVD shelves in your horror room? I explained that earlier. Very easy, man. You know, Home Depot, all the supplies up there, 2x6s, whatever, fucking brackets, all that type of stuff, and a little bit of time. So yeah, all the materials and stuff come from Home Depot. Really decently cheap. You know, the shelves that in the new room probably cost me still a few $100s, because the brackets and just all the hardware and stuff costs money. It all adds up. You're like, damn, that's fucked up. But yeah, so what do I use on the ends of the shelves to keep the DVDs tight? Just, you know, normal bookends and stuff. I can usually get those at Staples and shit like that. There's different types. I have some of the flimsier ones. I do have some of the heavier ones. But yeah, just general bookends and shit like that. So they slide in nicely. Billy Pop, what's up? Canadian boy here. 2 questions. Are you a fan of punk music at all? Yeah, I do like punk. I love... I'm a big Bad Religion fan. It's probably not the most punk thing in the world, but yeah, Bad Religion's like godly to me. I love them. I know you love Return of the Living Dead, and was wondering if the music have anything to do with it. Yeah, you know what? I love that soundtrack, man. There's lots of good stuff on there, man. I mean, really, really interesting and fun soundtrack. Yeah, music does have a lot to do with it, actually. Very well-placed songs in that one. Would you like me to make you an animated intro for your videos? Why not? That would be awesome. I've seen the intros that you did for Toddy Walnuts, and those are pretty damn cool, man. Very different. I've never seen really anyone do or have intros like that on YouTube, so I feel like I'd be copying Toddy Walnuts, but you know, that'd be very cool. I'm a cartoonist for a newspaper, and doing such animations for a couple movies. I also make music. I also play racquetball. Do you have any hobbies? Well, besides collecting, yeah, I do. I play sports. I play baseball. Yeah, I mean, I camp a lot. In the summertime, I camp like every weekend, so that's a big hobby of mine. I don't hunt, which is odd. All my friends hunt. They hunt and kill everything. Not really much of a hunter. I do like to fish. Not really much into water sports and stuff. I like to sit on boats and drink. So drinking's a big hobby. Do I collect spores, molds, or fungus? Of course, who doesn't? No, I do not. Thanks for the questions, man. Horror Junkie 509. Hey Moodz 616. How's it going? My question is, what are your favorite horror-related T-shirts? And have you maybe and where did I get them? My favorite shirts, actually, this is one of my favorite ones, man. Mystics and Bali shirt. I actually got this from the Mondo Macabre store, but I do buy most of my stuff from Rotten Cotton, Twisted Tees in Canada. I'd say some of my favorite shirts I have are like the Beyond, the Doll shirt I have. All my Italian shirts I'm a really big fan of. You know, things like that. I prefer the Rotten Cotton shirts over the Rotten Cotton shirts over Fright Rags, because I like the shirts that Rotten Cotton puts out. They're a little thicker, they're longer and stuff, because I got a really long torso, so I need the longer shirts and stuff, but yeah, so those are some of my favorite ones anyways. But probably my Coffin Joe shirt, I love that shirt. My Nail Gun Massacre shirt, I love that one too. That's a good one. Dave Hall, what is your favorite DVD Blu-ray cover art? Video Dead. Love it. Favorite film poster? Video Dead. I absolutely love the Video Dead. You know, another one I really love is Poltergeist 3. I love that cover art, man, of the sky, the high riser. So good, man. There's just so many to name, but those are two of the favorite ones that come off the top of my head. What is your favorite scene from a horror film? One of my favorite scenes is actually from, I think it's Friday 7, when when Jason breaks the chick over the tree in the sleeping bag. It's still one of my favorite scenes. It makes me laugh every time I even think of it. It's just such a mean-spirited death, man. It's just fucking awesome. I love that. Other than Nightmare on Elm Street 3, what are our favorite horror sequel? I always say Psycho 2. Psycho 2 is one of my favorite ones. I love Psycho 2. I love Psycho 3 also, man. But Psycho 2, man, oh, what a brilliant sequel, man. Done in real time, like 22 years after. 22 years after the fact. Great. Great stuff. I know you have done... have a ton of anthologies. What are your favorite shorts from them? You know, one short I've always loved is one of the segments in Trick or Treat where the little kids go down to where the bus sank in the water. I love that short. One of my favorite ones. I just love the atmosphere of it. I love the story. It's kind of like this whole just love the mythology behind it and stuff. I really, really dig that one. It's great. Off the top of your head, what's a way of killing someone you've never seen in a film? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. You know, sometimes I'm watching films, I'm just like, wow, I never thought of that before. That's crazy. I have absolutely no idea. You know, I probably would have said something on the lines of, you know, choking on a dick, but then, you know, Ryan Nicholson did that in Gutterballs, so I have absolutely no idea, man. I don't even know how to answer that because I swear I've seen everything, but who really knows? I don't know. I have no idea. Sorry, I just don't even know. What off the top? Have you ever had a very frightening experience in my own life? I have. I actually had someone come into my parents' house one time who was possessing a gun. It was crazy. He had no intentions of hurting us. He was actually running from someone else. But it was a scary moment because we didn't know. We ran out of the house. It was like 11 or 12. It was actually with my best friend Trav. And we just didn't know what was happening and stuff. And I think that's probably kind of why I'm afraid of home invasion films. I never really put two and two together, but I think that could be a possible reason why I'm afraid of home invasion films. Very weird. Do you believe in ghosts, demons, and the supernatural? Yeah, why not? Who doesn't? I mean, I honestly do. Who's the most beautiful female character actress you've ever seen in a film? I'm probably going to have to go with Edward. How do you pronounce her name? I'm so bad with the names. Edwidge Fenech? Yeah, you know, she's from your Vice's Locked Door, and Only I Have the Key and stuff. Case of the Bloody Iris. She is one of the most beautiful Italian actresses. She plays in a lot of giallo films. Really, really great stuff. And she's in Strip Nude for Your Killer and stuff. Love her. Love her. She's just always kind of caught my eye. Love her. Who's an actor or director you haven't met but would like to meet? I have never met John Carpenter, which I would like to meet John Carpenter. I would like to meet Argento too, to be honest. I think he'd be amazing. Actors and stuff. John Goodman. I mean, he didn't really play in a lot of, you know, horror films and stuff. He's played in a couple, but John Goodman's one of my all-time favorite actors. Just, I love the guy. The guy's so good in everything he does. So, but yeah, thanks for the questions. Declan Williams, why are you so ashamed to show off your No Limit albums and your CD collection videos? Yet you have so many of them. I mean, I'm not afraid to show them off at all. I mean, I showed them all off when I was doing my shelf by shelf videos. I don't specifically go out of my way to talk about them because I'm not really into that stuff anymore. There was a time between, 98 and 2000, 2001, where I was into it. It was like kind of that transitional period in hip-hop, and I was looking for something different. I mean, mainstream music had kind of taken over. You know, Puff Daddy kind of killed the industry a little bit. So I was kind of looking outside the box for something else, and I found No Limit. I was into that for a little bit, but got right back into what I was into before. And, you know, it's just, you know, I'm not ashamed to have them or show them off or anything. I just don't like to talk about things generally that I'm not really into a whole lot, so that's about it. I keep them because I love having, especially like those old cases that they're into. That they were like the only ones that ever put them on those hard plastic cases. Those are pretty cool. What's a movie you're embarrassed you haven't seen? I have no idea. I've never seen Three Ninjas before. I don't know if I should be embarrassed about that, but someone asked me. It got brought up in conversation one time. I've never seen Three Ninjas, believe it or not. I don't know. Should I be embarrassed? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've seen a lot of classic stuff, so. But that was coming from Mikey Fish Horror. Luca Minnick. If you can name some of your favorite non-horror movies, actors, and directors. Favorite non-horror movies? Of course, like Labyrinth. One of my favorites, man. Die Hard. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Woody Allen and stuff. Apocalypse Now is like my favorite war film. Favorite actors, you know, I always, John Goodman, you know, not really known as much of a horror actor, but favorite directors, I'm a huge Tarantino fan. Anything Tarantino's done, I'm such a huge fan of all his films. I love Scorsese, the Coen brothers, I'm a huge fan. Stanley Kubrick, huge fan. God, there's just so many to name and stuff, but yeah, another one of my favorite movies is probably American History X. I love that film. Really, really amazing stuff. And favorite non-hip-hop albums and artists and albums. Favorite artists, like I said before, I'm a big Iron Maiden fan and stuff. One of my favorites, you know, honestly, like I said, the new Korn record, man, is so good. Honestly, it's one of their best albums they've ever put out, and it's come this far late into their careers too. It's really crazy. Favorite albums, Jesus, man. One of my favorite albums of all time is actually Kiss's Destroyer record. I love that album so much. Thanks for the questions, though. Estar 4, it's kind of a weird question. If you buy movies, do you use super scratch, partly broken cases? Does it annoy you? Yeah, I honestly replace all the DVD cases and stuff. Just get that filth off and stuff. So, yeah, and I do. I totally throw them away, replace them and stuff like that. I've always been like that, man. I can't have like broken shit in my collection, so it just kind of bugs me. 94HJY. Hey Moodz, love your taste in film and your collection of great films. I have a few questions for you. Okay, what is your favorite cinematic experience? Favorite cinematic experience actually is probably watching Stand By Me in the theater back in '85. I remember that because I got to see it with my dad too. I didn't see my dad growing up a whole lot because he worked out of town, so that was always a big memory for me. What is your favorite film released by Mondo Macabro? Probably Mystics and Bali, actually, come to think of it. And Don't Open Till Christmas. Love that film, too. Favorite film released by Vinegar Syndrome? Probably going to say Raw Force. Raw Force or Christmas Evil. Love those two releases. What's my take on Orozco the Embalmer? It's brutal. It's just reality at its grimiest, man. It's awesome. It's good stuff. What is your favorite film that is under the radar that most people don't know about and should? I don't know, man. Not like, it's not too much under the radar, but I never hear people really talk about it. I always hear people say they've never seen it, and that's Bob Clark's Death Dream. I love that movie. No one ever seems to talk about it. I don't know why. It's good. What is... Okay, most important question. What's my favorite cereal? Trix. Definitely Trix, hands down. Favorite K-Cup. Anything with vanilla. I love anything vanilla bean and stuff. Love that shit, man. It's really good. What is my favorite cannibal movie coming from D4SH3R? It probably says something, but I don't know. Favorite cannibal movie? Cannibal Holocaust. Love Cannibal Holocaust so much. I love Cannibal Ferox. The Italian cannibal films I'm such a big fan of. Jungle Holocaust is awesome too. Do you think that Eli Roth is a good director? I do. I think Eli Roth is a good director because he's a fan, and you know, I'm not overly like the biggest, massive Eli Roth fan of his films. I prefer Eli Roth the person over the films, to be honest, but because he's so knowledgeable about horror, and he's just that I like people like that. So, can you recommend cannibal movies without animal killing? I think Cannibal Apocalypse doesn't have any in it. Cut and Run probably doesn't. Those are Italian ones, I'm assuming that you're asking. There's a lot of cannibal films that are not Italian that obviously don't have animal killing in them, but those ones don't, I don't think. Will I ever do another marathon? It's done. I just need to edit the video. My bad. What's my job? I work for Pure Later. Your top 5 heavy metal albums, any genre bands. My top 5 heavy metal bands. Like I said before, Iron Maiden, Korn. I'm a really big Pantera fan. I love 6 Feet Under. Yeah, man, just stuff like that. Megadeth. I love Slayer. I'm a really big Slayer fan. I like that, that whole, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax, and old Metallica and stuff. Old thrash. I love thrash. Good shit. Meaningless movie talk. What are some movies that surprised you and how good they are? Honestly, man, the one that comes to my mind is Red Sun Tower from Toe Tag, man. That movie really kind of blew my socks off because I was expecting something completely different, especially after getting the August Underground films and seeing this one that was actually like, a legit type film. That one was really damn good. I enjoy it. Acting's kind of hit and miss at times, but it's fun though. What are some movies that actually made you angry how bad they were? Oh god, Howling 7 comes to mind again. That movie is so goddamn shitty. I hate that movie, man. 0.5 out of 10. It's terrible. I give it a 0.5 because it actually got made. Do you prefer movies with a bigger scale, Final Destination, blah, 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 or smaller scale? You know what? It doesn't matter. I watch everything from shot-on-video films to blockbusters. A good movie is a good movie to me. And, I personally have such a wide range of films that I do like. Probably more so than a lot of people out there, but it is what it is, man. I like some big budget films, I don't, and vice versa. There's a lot of shot-on-video films I think are total shit too. So, it doesn't really theoretically matter to me. I prefer to watch a lot more low-budget stuff nowadays because mainstream films are so far between that they don't make as much. It's more about indie and kind of straight to DVD and VOD releases now and stuff. So, but yeah. JC's Horror Show. Is there a method to your madness? Yeah, there is. Scream Factory, Arrow UK, not a lot of the same titles, or got a lot of the same titles. How do you decide which one to get? Special features? You say, what the hell, buy both? No. Honestly, if Arrow and Scream Factory are putting on the same titles, I'm probably going to go with the Arrow one. I do look at special features, and more than likely, Arrow is edging out Scream Factory in that category, so go with Arrow. Plus, I don't really buy a lot of Scream Factory stuff anymore because the prices are ridiculous. I can import the Arrow stuff for half the price with the conversion. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Junkmaster 3, rarest movie box set in your collection. I have no idea. I'd probably say maybe She's Dead by Nick Box. The Blu-ray is limited to 50. Pretty much nobody out there has a copy, so I would say it's probably one of the rarest. It's limited to 50 copies, so I don't know. What's the most disturbing movie I've ever seen? Girl Next Door. You know, from all the gore and all the crazy shit I've seen, that one just disturbs me the most because it just seems so damn real. It could happen to anybody. Dave Hall, some questions. What horror film you loved when you first saw it you don't like? What's a horror film you loved when you first saw it but don't like now? Probably Dawn of the Dead remake. Yeah. The opposite, what's a horror film you didn't like at first but now you love it? Hellraiser. Never liked Hellraiser when I first saw it, but I love it now. Can you recommend some horror films which take place on planes and trains? Yeah, I mean, most recently, obviously, Train to Busan. I mean, that movie's fantastic and stuff, so... some other ones that take place on trains, I would probably have to say... Horror Express. Horror Express is a really good one. On a Plane, Flight of the Dead. Honestly, actually is pretty good, man. Pretty good stuff, so... Yeah, I mean, trains, I mean, subways and stuff, Midnight Meat Train. Yeah, there's lots of films. There's lots of really good ones. But I really... Horror Express, check out that one. Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, good stuff. Really love that. Mike Sears, what's up, homie? What's your top 5 hip-hop albums of all time? I probably have to say Midnight Marauders is my favorite album. Off the top of my head, probably Illmatic, Ready to Die, The Main Ingredient, Low End Theory, probably rounding out the top 5. There's just so many albums out there I love. I forgot It Takes a Nation $1 Million to Hold Us Back. That's probably in my top 5. You know, it's the album that actually got me to hip-hop back in '88, so probably in there. There's so many. That'll give you a general idea anyways, so. Name 2 horror movies that scare you as a kid that also scare you now. You know, honestly, every time I watch Children of the Corn, it still kind of gets me a little bit. Something about those cornfields and just the atmosphere of that film. Yeah, man, it's definitely Children of the Corn, man. 2 horror movies that scared me as a kid, that scare me now. I don't really know if there's too much more, but Children of the Corn is one. You know, Poltergeist still kind of gets me a little bit. That one, as a kid, frightened the shit out of me. I think it's a really well-made kind of PG-13 type film, so that one's kind of creepy. Movie Guy 666, here's a question for the video. Have you had a dick in your butt? Have you had a pole in your mouth? And have you ever had a tranny pee on your butt? Yes, yes, and ew, peeing gross. Ugh. Zach, the only troll question on the whole thing. I'm surprised I didn't get more hard troll questions, to be honest, because I get trolled quite a bit on here. But Zach's a buddy of mine. Ridiculous question, but Uzi Suicide 666. What films need to be released that currently isn't, and who should release it? Like I said, man, Blue Monkey, Death Weekend, those ones need to be released, and I would love to see, you know, anybody just release. I don't even care. Arrow, Scream Factory, fucking Vinegar Syndrome. Vinegar Syndrome would be a great company to release those two, to be honest. I think those would be good ones. Derek, DBorgie86, if Takashi Miike directed a Godzilla film, what would you think it would be like? I think it would be very, very strange. It would have Yakuza in it. It would be very strange, like Dead or Alive. It would be all over the place. The story wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, but we would still love it. And it would have Godzilla in it. What 2 Godzilla monsters would you like to see battle each other in their own film? King Ghidorah and Titanosaurus. Why not? Those 2 would be kind of a fun one. What are some films that have great atmosphere that you feel are not talked about that I would recommend? Death Dream. Death Dream. I've mentioned it before. I don't know what the fuck. That movie's so damn atmospheric and so awesome, and no one ever talks about it. Another really interesting one I just recently reviewed is Dr. Death. That one, everyone needs to check out, man. It's funny. No one checked out the review, so, but unfortunately. But, yeah, I recommend those. How many movies I think I have? 6,000, 7,000. Something rather like that. Not much of a question. I found your channel while looking for reviews of Andrei Zalewski's Possession, which quickly became one of my personal favorite horror films. Since you have introduced me to so many great horror films and kick-ass hip-hop music, Putz is now my favorite hip-hop musical duo. Thanks to you, aw shit. Well, in closing, thank you. Putz, People on the Stairs, my second favorite group of all time. No Problem, Jose Menendez. Yeah, big ups, man. I'm glad that you're digging the recommendations, because Putz, I'm glad that you came around, like, people are coming around on that, man. It seems like no one ever gives me feedback on Putz, but I think they're amazing. Nicole Colette, hey Moodz, fellow Canuck here. Love you and your channel. My husband and I always check your opinion on a horror movie before we buy. That's scary. We have very similar taste in films. One question: where do you get your sunglasses? They always remind us of the ones Harvey's Restaurant used to give away in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, the sunglasses are part of the joke in my channel. I used to wear like a lot of good ones, but I wear these ones that I got at Cinema Wasteland. They were Chubbies, the film Chubbies, the little aliens that come out of people's butts and stuff. When I bought the film, I got a couple pairs of glasses that I still wear in the videos, and they're goofy because they're horror related and stuff. I don't think a lot of people even understand that, but that's why I wear them, is because they're horror related, they're goofy looking. I'm not trying to take everything I do serious and stuff, so that's pretty much what it is. Apple Tajay. Hey Moodz, love your videos. I happen to notice that you love beer, so I was wondering if you could be interested in trading some of your spare DVDs in exchange for Dutch, Belgian, Euro beers. I got rid of pretty much everything I would, but man, shipping and stuff on that would probably be a lot better for you to just keep your stuff and drink them. It would be terrible to ship over here. It would be awful. It would probably cost you hundreds of dollars, man. Really, really bad, but that would be cool though. And final questions. Fight for Your Life by Andrew. What do I do for a living? Work at Pure later. Is that video dead? The German hardbox? It is, actually. Do I feel dirty owning so much Wild Eye stuff? I have to say, yeah, a little bit. No, I don't feel dirty for owning it, but a lot of those movies are really, really shitty. I won't lie. They're really, really bad. So, yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to get rid of some of that stuff, to be honest. Some of it I just can't have in the collection. It's just bad, so... But yeah, thank you. This video, I'm going to edit all together. It's going to be one monstrous long video. So thank you for everybody for asking the questions. I'll do another one of these videos sometime down the road, maybe when I get a bunch of new questions and stuff like that. So I'll post a video maybe like another year, and we'll do it again. This was really, really fun to do. So a lot of interesting questions and stuff. I'm surprised that I didn't get a lot more personal questions, to be honest. Things like how tall am I, how fat am I, things like that. I'm quite surprised I didn't get any of those, and a lot more troll questions. I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, thanks to everybody that actually asked a question and stuff. I appreciate it a lot, and thank you guys for all the support on the channel over the, 6 years I've been on YouTube and stuff. It's been a really fun ride and stuff, so hope you guys continue to enjoy. Lots more videos to come in the future, so stay tuned for those. I do have another 90s video coming up very, very shortly. Yeah, it'll probably be up in 2 days, so be on the lookout for that. A lot more reviews and things like that. So, again, guys, awesome. And Chars, I'm drinking coffee. Not really Chars time, is it? But, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace!